To all of the distinguished performers, cultural icons, representatives of the delegates here from all around the world, it's an honor to be with you tonight. And I also have to say to Jochen, who I have met, thank you for hosting us in this extraordinary spot. And to your wife, Sasha, who I have not yet met, I hope to meet and congratulate her on an extraordinary job tonight. Und den Berlinern im Publikum möchte ich dafür danken, dass Sie die Konferenzteilnehmer in Ihrer großartigen Stadt und Jochen in Ihrer großartigen Gebäude empfangen. The issues on your agenda this weekend could not be more crucial to our world. Previous Interdependence Day celebrations have been held in other global cities of the world. Ben mentioned Rome, but I can think of no better location to discuss the potential and advantages of working in unison and commonality than here in Berlin, the city that only 20 years ago was a global symbol of the division and repression of the Cold War. This concert, this event this evening, is one of the more solemn parts of the Interdependence Day program. The program tonight is dedicated to the memory of all of those who died in the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001. Over 3,000 people of close to 100 different nationalities and many different religions. My wife Tammy is here in the back of the house, and I have to say at a personal level, many friends of ours. It is also dedicated to all the children, women, and men who died in subsequent attacks, fueled by the lethal power of extremist ideologies. And Ben and the Imam have each gone through a list of some of those other attacks. Today, as we remember 9/11 and all that it symbolizes, it is clear we must also dedicate ourselves to eradicating the threat that violent extremism still poses to all of us. That is one of the challenges of the interdependent world in which we live. Independence has been the motto of states and individuals since 1750. In my country, that quest for independence was founded upon principles of tolerance, respect for religious freedom, and freedom of speech. The United States is a nation fueled by the incredible energy that is created when people from different cultures, regions, religions, races, and faiths come together in a spirit of cooperation to build better lives for themselves and for their children. There is nothing more offensive to President Barack Obama and to the vast majority of Americans than someone deliberately abusing his or her right of freedom of expression to provoke and offend the members of a religious faith, be it Islam, Judaism, Christianity, or any other faith. But one of the costs of that freedom is that the U.S. government is extremely limited by the Constitution in its ability to censor or prohibit speech, which in most cases is a good thing, even when that speech is profoundly offensive or outright dangerous. The threat to burn Qurans on this solemn day was an example of why the motto for coming generations can only be interdependence. Some of you may have been following the headlines about this Florida preacher who was threatening to burn Qurans in front of his church. He has, as I understand it, only a small congregation of 50 people. What does this story say about global communities and responsibility when someone with so little power in his own community can become a subject of discussion literally around the world? How do we guard against losing our sense of perspective and balance? One answer to both of those questions is that interdependence requires more than tolerance. It requires real respect toward those who are different from us, whatever that means. Respect will be one of the crucial elements of any strategy to address the challenges of a changed and always changing global landscape. The pace and nature of interconnection, economic interdependence, new technologies, all of these have in some ways brought the world, at least superficially, closer together, but in other ways demonstrated the intensity of the need for more common approaches. We are in a race between the forces of integration and the forces of disintegration, and we see it every day. There are huge opportunities, new modes of cooperation, and new capacities to improve lives out there. But to take advantage of these new opportunities, we need to define new concepts of leadership at all levels and in terms relevant to the world of both today and tomorrow. As President Obama has said repeatedly, two inescapable facts define the world of the 21st century. First, no nation, even the United States, can meet the world's challenges alone. And second, the very real obstacles that stand in the way of turning commonality of interest into common action. Leadership in today's world, and this means all of you and us and me, means overcoming those obstacles by building coalitions that can produce results. It means providing incentives for those who are part of the solution, whether they recognize it or not, enabling them and encouraging them to live up to responsibilities that even a decade ago they would never have thought were theirs. It also means providing incentives for those who do not readily accept their responsibilities, as the Imam has very eloquently articulated. And finally, I think it means matching results to the values I just talked about. It is not about scoring points and getting headlines. It is about changing conditions, changing attitudes, changing laws, changing people's lives for the better. We seek to solve problems because we're committed to global progress that promotes dignity and the opportunity for everyone to live up to his or her God-given potential. Values matter. That should go without saying. But it needs to be not only repeated, but perhaps emblazoned as a set of guiding principle in your Declaration of Interdependence. Democracy, human rights, development are mutually reinforcing, and they are deeply connected to the national interests of all of our countries. There is no challenge we face more profound than the idea that our differences are more important than our common humanity. Our world sometimes seems to be dominated by political, religious, philosophical, almost psychological conflicts. All too often, these conflicts require us to divide up and demonize people who aren't, quote unquote, like us. We need to guard against this, and we need to stand united. And so today, on September 11th, and tomorrow on September 12th, Interdependence Day, look back not in anger or forward in fear. Look around in awareness of the dangers we face, but also of the strength of our citizens and of our communities. And I say that in the very broadest context of us, and of our resolve to meet challenges old and new. It's an honor to be with you here tonight. Among other occupations I have as a father of 4 young children. So if you'll forgive me, I need to walk out the back door. Imam, Ben, it's been an honor to be here. Thank you.